you love her unconditionally. So you love her without condition, without anything needing to happen or her having to do anything. It's the same with having fun. If you could have unconditional fun, how might life look different? What might that then open you up to in other areas of your life? Welcome, guys, to another episode of The Powerful Man Show. I am your host, Tim, the Powerful Man Matthews. Here, joining me, my co-host for today is Mr. Arthur Magulianiti. Arthur, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother. Hello, listeners. How you doing, Tim? You feeling better?
No, not quite. Although the great thing is, you're listening to this, this means I've been able to twist Arthur's arm and jump on again, which is great. So, Arthur, you brought up a really great topic when we were deciding what to share with the listeners on this one. So it was a topic around having fun. So tell me a little bit more about, the conversation you were having with Penny and what it is you want to share right now.
Yeah, it was. And, it'll pick up off the last podcast we did. And it's all about, having that spontaneous fun. And I was speaking with Penelope and just saying, sometimes in life we give ourselves so many rules that we have to check off before we can have fun. And, at least let me speak to myself. It just seems so, for me and perhaps for Penny as well. It was just like, it was just like, to be spontaneous, to have fun is just an amazing thing. And of course, I've had fun in my life, spontaneous fun and all of that. And, those are usually the best moments. And yet when we get caught up in the practicalities of life, running around with the kids and we have to work and doing this, it somehow it seems that we have to check everything off before we can relax and have that fun. And it's just a topic that's come up because obviously at the Alpha Reset, the one we just had, we spoke about, jumping in puddles and how much fun we had just doing that. And obviously that breaks a couple of society's rules about, jumping in with clean clothes and white trainers. And then also, it's over the weekend, I took a leaf out of what we did there and, decided I was going to jump in the pool with all my clothes on in front of my two kids and their two cousins. And it felt great in the moment just to break those, kind of inverted commas rules that we have about how to get into a pool. but funnily, that wasn't the funniest part. The funniest part was getting out and seeing the four kids with eyes wide open, thinking, my uncle has lost it. He's lost the plot completely. Either he's had too much to drink or something's going on, but this is not normal behavior. And I think that's what we're talking about here, having this so-called normal behavior rule our lives and preventing us just from having, spontaneous fun.
Yeah, I love it. I bet the picture of those guys' faces were priceless. Oh my God. I would have loved to have seen that. That would have been great.
Yeah, that was really cool. It was just like, oh my God, there's something wrong with this man. And scarily, the first thing that came up to their mind, that they saw there was something in my pocket, and they all started shouting, "Your phone, your phone, your phone!" Which is a stark reminder of where we are today. That the phone carries so much attachment that they all straight away got over the shock of, okay, he wet his clothes. Now, what's the repercussions of that? Oh man, he's screwed up his phone. Luckily, it wasn't my phone in my pocket. I knew that before I jumped in.
Break the rules, but do it in the right way.
Yeah. I even took off my shoes.
Oh, that's great. I wonder what prevented those guys from jumping in with you.
Probably the same things. They'd already been around. They'd already been in the pool. They'd already swum. I think they'd already had the showers and had dressed up for the evening, pajamas or whatever. And so it was probably like, well, we've had our turn. We've all cleaned up now. That's another line we can't break right now. But that's actually a great question. That is which I didn't think of in the time, because they would have loved to have jumped in straight afterwards, breaking the rules. But I didn't encourage that. I just climbed out. Whereas maybe I should have stayed in there and said, "Come on, you're going to join me, aren't you?" And actually, yeah, that would have been an even better move.
Yeah, well, it reminds me of a moment last year when I was at the Network for Transformational Leaders. We were in Chianti, and on a night time when we got back to the it was almost like a little complex that we rented out. There was like, 10, 11, 12 villas there and a pool. And on a night when we got back from being out doing the wine tasting, everyone went in the pool with their clothes on. And the best part about this, we all then, about 6 of us then stood in a circle, hands joined up, all going back and forth, creating this big whirlpool of water. And it was so hilarious. The memory I've got right now of it was just in absolute stitches, laughing our heads off, just being so stupid and silly and laughing at the fact that we're all in this pool, it's late at night, and watching as the waves that we're creating just splash everybody in the face and just breaking the rules, having that fun. The pool's cordoned off. We weren't supposed to go in there, but that's a kind of a different element to breaking rules, right? But excuse me, it was great, just the simple nature of it. And we see it time and time again with the men, don't we, who come into the program, this distance and conditional fun. It's almost like conditional love, right? You don't love your wife, and just for the listeners, Penelope's Arthur's wife. You love her unconditionally, so you love her without condition, without anything needing to happen or her having to do anything. It's the same with having fun. If you could have unconditional fun, how might life look different? What might that then open you up to in other areas of your life?
And it's interesting too, because we often, there's 2 parts to this. It's one is like having a really serious personality, which is something I've suffered with my whole life. And as I get older, I think I'm getting a little bit sillier, which is the great way to do it. But there's a lot of guys that bring a lot of seriousness to their life. They're just serious, and it's like they've been told in some rule book that you have to be serious about life because life is serious or something like that, and yet, if you bring joy, if you bring fun to almost all of the areas in your life, you're just going to make so much more progress and make it so in such a better way. Bring a little bit of fun and playfulness and joyfulness to your relationships. Do the same for the work and your colleagues. We're not saying don't take it seriously. Don't take it, professionally. But do you have to always be so serious about it? It's like having, seriousness is like, what did the one guy say? It's like the booby prize to life, being serious. And what's the point? What's the point? You don't earn any prizes for being serious. Yeah, but you can have so much fun and actually create so much more by way of being playful in all the areas of your life.
I love it. It's almost like, the old model of what it meant to be successful and what it took to be successful. The old mantra and the old message within personal development was all around perseverance and motivation and hustle and grind, and you got to get up at 4 a.m. and you don't go to bed until 10 p.m. And, it was all taking a lot of pride in how much pain almost you could persevere and how much you could tolerate in order to then achieve success. And success was then this thing that came in the form of cars and houses and suits and watches and women, and that's when you made it. Yet, as we have found out, that obviously isn't the way, because otherwise, if it was, men right now wouldn't be the unhappiest that they've ever been in the history of this planet. And obviously we know that because the figures with suicide, right? So it's almost like updating as well what it means to be successful. And also the journey, really, really questioning the paradigm that, okay, in order to be successful, quote unquote, whatever that means to you, whether it is the money and the home and the cars and the holidays, then I've got to show up this way, and it's me versus them, and I've got to beat them. So I've got to, be more serious or be more, more of a poker face, whatever you want to call it. And then when I do that, that's when I'm going to make money. And then when I make money, that's when I'll get the respect and the significance and the love and the adoration and all those things that, are going to make me feel like a man, quote unquote. Yet, as we all know, that point never arrives because it's so conditional and so reliant on something outside of yourself that it never actually lands. Even when you have the homes and the holidays and the cars and the watches and whatever else, you still feel this void within, because that void within cannot be filled with anything outside of yourself
Mm.
And one of the ways to fill that void is to break the rules, like you're saying, to give yourself the permission to have this spontaneous fun. One of the guys at the last Alpha Reset said, "Yep, that's it. So every Friday at 4:00, we're going to have fun." And we were like, well, it doesn't quite work like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't plan it in. You can do some fun things, yet, introduce that playful nature. So for you, Arthur, my good friend, how do you introduce more of that playful nature into your everyday life?
Hey guys, it's time to get real. Do you feel bored, burnout, or broken? Discover the system that over 300 businessmen are using to let go of the grind, find inner peace, and unlock near unlimited personal power so they can have more time, more intimacy, and better sex while living a life they love without stressing about work or feeling like a fraud. Go over to thepowerfulman.com/freedom right now and discover the insights that you need to get started. All right, let's get back to the episode.
And I think it's really just creating space on a daily basis where I can decide in the moment, actually, what would I enjoy doing right now? What would I love doing? And going and doing that, so, but it all requires, I think for me, it's making sure that I have that space in the first place. And actually, as I'm saying that, maybe there's more to that, because I can bring the joy in the moment wherever I am. I don't need the space for that. And I think this is an important distinction as well here, because we can generate this joy in any moment that we want. We don't need something outside of ourselves to experience joy. We can bring joy to ourselves. We can bring joy to another person around us. So I think it's just really two parts to this. One is reminding ourselves that yes, we can generate the joy, and to do that more often. Be more playful with Penelope. Be more playful with the kids. Be more silly with the kids. They love that. And even with Penelope, being a little bit more silly. Not all the time. You got to know when to be that, and what kind of humor to bring at what point. But then, so we can always generate the joy in the moment. I truly believe that, and we can do that. I think also having the space in our day where we can then decide in that moment, okay, would I rather go walk on the beach, go run in the waves, go jump in the pool, whatever ways that you might feel in that moment. But I think that comes from having that space in one's day as well.
And what do you think are the things that hold men back from having this joy?
I think a lot of people need certain things to be in place before they allow themselves to relax and enjoy. I got to get this thing done, and I got to get this work done. We often find a lot of people are caught up in having the need to feel like they're busy all of the time, which obviously you don't need to be all busy all of the time to move forward, to succeed, as long as the kind of work you're doing is inspired work instead of just the busy work. And so I think kind of rules are like, and a lot of people feel guilty when they're not working. Even if you don't have work to do in that moment, they feel guilty because they're not working. And so I think a lot of people get caught up in that. Having I need to do this, and then I can relax, and then I can have fun, and I got to, and so that's what, back to what we were saying earlier on. It's the rules that people employ, and different people will have different rules.
I think men men have a tendency to get quite scared as well. Well, if I have more fun, that means I'm going to waste time. I'm going to be wasting time when I could be working. If I have more fun, that then means that I'm going to let my hair down. I'm not going to get as much done. I'm not going to make as much money. And then it comes back to that same root belief, doesn't it? Of, well, what does that, what does it mean to be a success to you? If it means that, you've got to have all this money to fill a void, if you will, then obviously you're going to keep on chasing that. Yet in reality, we see it time and time again with the guys. We're fortunate enough to work with the men that, for the most part, have achieved their version of financial success. Sure, they've still got goals they want to achieve in that area, but for the most part, they've got a business that's turning over usually anywhere between mid 6 figures to 7, sometimes 8 figures. And they've made the money and they're not happy. In fact, the more money they make, the unhappier they become, because they start to exhaust more and more the things that they thought were going to make them happy. And their life has become so monotonous that there's so many rules in place, so many structures in place that are really holding them back and taking them further away from the real essence of what it means to be a human being, which is to be spontaneous sometimes and, have that fun. And I love what you were saying there about, just creating the space to ask yourself, what is it that you want to do? I think that's a powerful awareness and an ability to have. I do something similar. I've now started to pack up my laptop and some of my journal and things, because when I go to the gym in the morning, sometimes I don't feel like I want to come back to the office and work.
Yeah.
So I go and work from my favorite coffee shop, or I go work from somewhere overlooking a lake, or wherever. I just allow myself to tune in and follow where I'm feeling called to be. And it's just that simple act of breaking the rule of, I've got to be in my office. Just that simple act, that it's like a muscle, isn't it, right? The more you listen to yourself, the stronger the voice gets, the more it's okay to do it. In fact, the more you do it, the better life becomes, the more you want to do it. And it's a challenge at first, because you're like, can I really do that? Should I really jump in the pool? Should I really jump in puddles? But I don't know about you. When I was jumping in puddles, I was completely out of my head. Completely. I was just so in the moment, running, searching for puddles, jumping with both feet, looking down. It splashed me up in my face. And I was just loving it. It was so refreshing to break the rules and just do something otherwise I would have put so many boxes and rules around me again from doing.
Yeah, and the thing is that there's I think there's evidence out there that shows that when you're actually in your bliss, when you're doing stuff that you love, and when you're not like focused on working, you get more creative. If running is your thing, how many people have said like, I had this amazing idea out there, or how many people get like great ideas or discussions happen on the golf course, when they're out having fun. There's a very real good science behind this, that, when you're, as opposed to sitting at your desk trying to think your way through, trying to force your way through a problem or an event or to create something, when you're out there being in bliss, in your flow, in doing stuff you love and enjoy, so many more creative ideas pop up. They just pop up out of the ether. It just gives you, maybe it's, from your heart, who knows, but it pops up, and you wouldn't have had that sitting at your desk grinding it out.
So true. I mean, the science behind it, I guess, well, one of it, I guess, will be the brainwaves as well, won't it? You're more relaxed, and the state of coherency you then go into, and how it then opens you up. And so there is science out there, guys. If you need science to just appease the mind and give you a bit of logic, then you're right, there's some great science out there. So what are some things that the listeners, the guys that listen to this and it's resonating with them and they're feeling a bit uptight, they know they could have more fun, maybe they have those dreaded words from the wife that, you're so serious these days, or you're just like your dad. No one wants to hear those words, right? So what are some things that these guys can do? 3 steps that the listeners can start to do immediately to experience more joy and fun in their life.
3 things. I think straight off, the first thing is just smile. Just smile more. It's the easiest, simplest thing that most of us forget to do. Just smile at other people. It's becoming like weird for someone to smile at you. It's like, you think like, what are they thinking? What are they up to? What do they want? But, when you're smiling from your heart, your eyes shine, and people can feel your energy. So straight off, just smiling, bring a smile to it. Ask yourself, number 2 is ask yourself, like, how can I make this more enjoyable? How can I have more fun doing this? Whether it's doing your job, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's in your exercise program, what can I do to make this more fun? And 3, I think is definitely create some slots in your schedule where you can decide in the moment what you want to do. I think it's you got to plan the time, but don't plan what you're going to do. Just decide that in the moment, right now, this is what I feel like doing, and I'll do it. And definitely include your partner in this. Include your partner in this. Smiling at your partner more is going to help. Being more playful with your partner is going to help, and going out together, being spontaneous, doing something on the spur of the moment, that's definitely going to help. So I guess those are 3 ideas just there.
Yeah, I love it. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile, right?
Yeah, that's what they say. And and yeah, I mean, when everyone around a table is having fun, is smiling, with your kids, everyone just enjoys fun. Of course, it's fun is fun. And so, we need to introduce a lot more of it. More jumping the puddles, more jumping in the pool with clothes on, more games, more fun in doing more fun stuff with friends as well, and family. It's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt.
I love it. So there you go, guys. Some great tangible action points you can take away and use. Arthur, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing this topic to the table. I think it's a great one that's much needed for everybody, not just men. So guys, that's another episode of the Powerful Man Show. Thank you for joining us, and make sure you join us again next time.
Cheers, guys. Cheers all. Thanks, Tim.